Kevin, it's been a busy day for you, obviously.
Are
Uh,
we going?
yeah, we're rolling. We're
All
rolling.
right, man. Cool.
We're
Okay,
live.
sweet as.
We're live.
All right.
Nice belt in the background there.
Yes, that's the WBO heavyweight belt.
That is, yeah, that is.
Uh,
Tell me, how's everything in the gym? I've spoken to Guido. I've spoken to your son through messaging, but how's things? How's life during this whole chaotic time?
it's been a little challenging.
Yeah,
We shut down for a while when the COVID first started back mid-March.
yeah,
But I was very lucky. I was actually one of the lucky ones where we have a private facility and it's 2 minutes from my house. So when all the other gyms were closed down and people were going crazy, I was able to get to the gym every day and ride the bike and do a few weights and some stretching and actually just sort of try to reboot myself while we got through this rough time. And it's been a very rough time. We've seen things that we could never have imagined happening. But we're also very, very fortunate that we're with a company at Top Rank where Guido, who was my only fighter who was actually left in the country because he couldn't get back home to Italy, and we found ourselves staying in shape and fighting on the first show on June 9. And now we get a second fight on July 21. So, we can consider ourselves very lucky for that. But look, mate, this has been a crazy time for a lot of people, not just the fighters, but the trainers and managers. It's been a crazy time for the world.
Yes,
everyone's had to rethink, what they're doing.
yeah.
And just
Day-to-day
when we
life.
and just when we think that we're getting ahead of it, like here in America, we're getting crushed again.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, I've kind of tired myself of talking about it. It's kind of I put a timeout ban in my house. We don't talk
Uh,
about Corona anymore.
right.
It's all very negative. It's all very,
Of course.
you know. We could talk about it all day.
I think most homes are like that now.
Yeah,
Most people have just had enough.
yeah, no,
They
yeah,
were all
yeah,
they were all being very diligent for a start, and everyone was taking in the data and the information,
yeah.
all wanting to do the right things and to have the information to act on. But then day after week after week, turning into months. Now everyone's got, please
You know,
give us our lives back.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the last thing I'll say on it is I think the far-reaching implications of mental effects are going to far outweigh any physical problems
Ah,
of Corona, and financial and mental health are going to be,
economical and mental are
going to
going to be
last years.
two huge things. Yeah.
So, God bless that. Some people are keeping well in this time, and I hope everyone else can do what they need to do. But
Yeah.
in regards to yourself, the gym, I was interested when I spoke to Guido just prior to his last bout. I didn't realize that your gym is a heavyweight only facility, which is quite interesting. The first hot topic I want to get off my chest is, can you shed any light on this Junior Farr debacle?
Well, it's a fight that it's been tossed around for a while now, and of course the way things worked out this year, we thought if ever there was a genuine opportunity of staging that fight,
Yeah,
it would be now. The fact that New Zealand has opened up, they're at level one. They've got football games with 40,000 people. So, we weren't looking at putting the fight on with no crowd and no media and no announcers or anything like that.
sure.
The only thing we had to do is we had to get both parties on board. Now, for the last couple of years, we've been off, winning the WBO world title, defending it a couple of times, fighting Joshua in one of the biggest fights in the world that year. While in the background, Junior Farr's been, he's been progressing. He's been, learning his trade. And I think what makes this fight viable is the fact that these guys, they boxed 4 times in the amateurs for 2 wins each. But we all know that, you know, the amateur game and the professional game are 2 totally different animals.
Apples and oranges.
You know, Joe's been fighting at the highest level around the world, where Junior's still, you know, he's in the rankings, but he's yet to have a defining fight. He's 19-0. When we were 19-0, we were fighting Carlos Takam for the #1 position with the IBF.
Yes.
You know, Takam was one of the hardest, most respected fighters in the world at that time. You know, and back in 2016. So you know, we're giving Junior a platform to step up and to fight Joseph Parker, the #2 ranked heavyweight in the world with the WBO. Farah's got a #6 ranking, which, you know, it's a little generous, but, you know, he's there. So it's a fight that the result would do a lot of good for both guys. And it's a fight that, if that fight was to take place here in America, no one would care. We simply wouldn't get, it would do no numbers at all.
Yes.
We'd be struggling to get a network interested in wanting to show it here.
Sure.
But in New Zealand and Australia and around the South Pacific, you know, Farah with his Tongan background, Joe with his Samoan heritage and his New Zealand support.
Yeah.
I think it's a fight that has a lot of interest, and it's a fight that that should take place, and we're doing our best. We've come up with a number. We've shown Junior Farah's team a way that they can make $500,000 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, a lot more than he's ever seen before.
And in these testing times, no money can be sniffed at.
No, see, well, that's what we were thinking. You know, win or lose. You know, win or lose for Junior. And look, I look at the same for Joe. The risk is for us because, gosh, if we lost to a young guy coming up. When I say young, he's 2 years older than Joe, but he's young in boxing terms.
Yes.
If we were to lose to someone like that, the damage for Joe would be far greater than what it would be for Junior. So, you know, David Higgins and Joseph and myself, we're trying to, you know, we're giving every opportunity to him and his team to step up and say, yeah, let's do it. And that's about where we're at the moment. But one thing I can tell you this, you know, I've said to David Higgins and I've said to Joe, you know, we are not going to go through the rest of 2020 with no fight.
Okay.
You know, it's going to be really tough with our matchroom contract, and we're down to our last fight at the moment, fight 3 of 3, and it's quite a good number. And Eddie simply doesn't have any room for that in America this year with no crowds.
Yes.
So, you know, we need to make a fight happen in New Zealand, and we're hoping it's Junior Farah. But if it is not Junior Farah, you know, right at the moment we're looking and we're reaching out to some other heavyweights to look to one is to get Joe back into the ring and solidify that #2 ranking with the WBO.
Ideally, you want the kind of Polynesian derby with Junior Farah, but failing that, is Lucas Brown still in the mix on the fringe?
Look, I'd love to say yes, but like, you know, the only thing about Lucas is 1 minute he was 100% all in to fight Joe.
Yeah.
And then the next minute he was 100% back looking at taking a fight in Vegas in August.
Okay.
And in fact, there was a posting on Instagram today that he had literally just sent me. I just received it. And my son Taylor was just telling me, oh, there's a video from Lucas Brown on there. And Lucas is, I think he's teamed back up again with his former manager, Matt Clark, in Australia.
Okay.
And he's just reaching out and letting a few people know. But look, that's a fight that we thought would be an interesting fight.
Yes.
Both former world champions. Joseph Parker 27-2, Lucas Brown 29-2. You know, it makes sense to us. It's a fight that we're going to fight Lucas Brown at Spark Arena in Auckland prior to us fighting Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
But when we started the lobbying and when things were looking like a possibility, we went hard on that, and of course got the Joshua fight, the first unification fight for 8 years. So we never got the fight with Lucas never happened. So it's one that I think it would be a great trans-Tasman rivalry, two former world champions, and would warrant quite a bit of interest. But look, I'm thinking at the moment that that ship has sailed, the Lucas
Okay.
Brown one.
Kevin, logistically speaking, you're in Las Vegas. You have your facility there. I know it's normal for Joe to travel and do a camp with you and be in America for long stints.
Yes.
Now you've said that New Zealand is level 1. What is the situation with him being able to come from New Zealand, like I understand your son Taylor did recently, to the States to train? Would that be the plan, and then go back to New Zealand for the potential fight?
Well, look, we haven't quite got there yet. It all depends who we're fighting. Obviously, if we do make a fight against a named fighter, I'm going to want to have that training camp here in America.
Yeah.
For various reasons. We have a really nice facility. We've got the ability to pull in world-class sparring. It removes Joe from all the interferences in Auckland. It gives him that break away from his family where he can focus full-time on the fight. And as I mentioned before, every fight for Joe at the moment, is so important.
Yeah.
At this stage of his career, we need to keep performing well, and we need to keep getting the W's, but not just winning, but looking great in those fights. We're coming off three knockout wins in our last 3 fights, and we've got to keep that going. If we're going to put our name up and put ourselves in a position to fight in a big major fight, we need to keep knocking people out. So look, that is definitely my preferred option. Joe's training very hard in New Zealand at the moment. He's doing a lot of strength work. He's very, very strong. His fitness is good. His weight is good. He's just looking for a fight. At one stage, we looked like there was a very strong possibility that we were going to fight in either August or September in Queenstown in the South Island.
Sure.
But that option now has been taken off the table. So, look, I think after 2019, when Joe got the spider bite at the end of the year and we ended up fighting one time in 2019, we were lucky, very lucky, that we got that first fight in this year in February against Winters.
Yeah.
But we need to fight again in 2020. It's very, very important.
Sure. Dillian Whyte, Mark Tibbs.
Yes.
I had the pleasure of speaking to Mark a few times during lockdown. Once was about 10 days ago, prior to the news that they were going to split. And just from my limited understanding, it was obvious that Dillian had been in Portugal. Mark had popped out there momentarily. It now transpires that he was waiting for a fixed date because of the fight camp being rescheduled and whatnot. Plus, he has a young family like I did.
Yes.
So, and I was aware of that. So it seems just one of those circumstantial, unfortunate things that kind of just, it doesn't seem like there's any smite. It doesn't seem like there's any ill toward or anything like that. It just seems like it couldn't work because Corona kind of got in the way logistically.
Yeah. Look, I was happy to hear that there was no bad blood, because I think that the market actually, he had definitely made Dillian a better fighter.
Oh, for sure.
And we all know Dillian's been coming off a tear the last few years, since his loss to Joshua. And if anyone deserves a shot at the world title, it's him. There's no doubt about that. But look, fighters make a lot of sacrifices. Trainers make a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, the only one who can make that decision for Mark is himself. He has to make the decision that's right for him and his family.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Dillian wants the coach that he's had for the last 3 or 4 years with them. And
Yeah, of
if
course.
he's in Portugal or if he's in Greenland, he wants him there.
Yeah.
But Mark's got other people who who depend upon him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Look, I'm pretty sure at that particular stage, with really super fights around the corner for Dillian, that it was a tough decision for Mark to make.
Yeah, I mean, I caught the back end of an interview he did with IFL earlier, and he said something about being given a schedule, and they wanted him to come into camp for the last 3 weeks only.
Right.
Because of the fact that Dillian had been in Portugal training for the last month or plus, and the fight is on August 22nd, which is 40 days, give or take. So he was like, no, I can't put my name to that work when I'm only being given 3 weeks at the back end of camp, which you can understand as a trainer is very unconventional, I'm guessing. That's not the way things are usually done, is it?
No, not really. But, there's ways of working different things out. It would be, if that actually came from Dillian, I can see that being like an olive branch. It's not like I'm walking away. I appreciate what you've done for me to get me to where I am and the difference that you've made as my coach, and I want to keep you there. I don't know if that is the case, but
well, this is just news I saw fresh off the press. And Mark was being very professional and amicable, but he got that. In his own words, he got that off his chest at the end of the interview. The interview almost came to an end, and then he added that quip in at the last minute. So it was like it was something he wanted out there. But I'm
sure that Mark, through his lifetime, has lived through many experiences like that with his father, and he's seen that. He's seen that happen on many occasions. Yeah. So I think that would give him, a closer experience to how it all works.
Well,
but it had to be hard for him.
No, look, listen, he's got his hands full. He's currently developing a new facility that's going to be his own gym. Nice. So keep an eye out for that. It's opening up in Essex, just east of London. Nice. I think it's called the Origins Gym. We're going to be going down there once lockdown's officially lifted and it's open.
Okay.
But just coming off of that, how do you see Dillian and Povetkin on August 22nd in fight camp?
Look, I'll tell you what, I think we'll see a totally different Dillian than the one we saw against Maurice Wack. He was obviously took the fight late. He came in heavy. He looked sluggish. He's had plenty of time to prepare for this. I think this is the right time for him to be getting Povetkin. Povetkin was very, very lucky, I believe, to score a draw with Michael Hunter. Yeah. I had Hunter winning that fight. In fact, Michael Hunter's never really given a fair shake of it. A lot of times, here's a guy that's very, very capable, and I think he deserved to win that fight. Yeah. I think it's a good fight for Dillian. I think it's in my understanding, I think it's a safe fight. But look, one thing we do know, even at the end of a fighter's career, Povetkin still has the opportunity to land that left hook flush and get anyone out. And there were moments in the Joshua fight that he had Anthony very uncomfortable.
Early rounds.
There were a couple of times in the Michael Hunter fight where Michael Hunter found out a lot about himself because he was on Queer Street at one stage.
Yeah.
Look, so you have to respect the pedigree. But I just think, I think Dillian's got too much momentum at the moment.
He's got certain tenacity.
When he's focused, and I think, and he knows he's close to a big opportunity, and I can't imagine him letting it slip through here.
No, I completely hope not. Just on that left hook comment, we know how sweet Dillian's money shot is, his left hook. Who's got the better left hook out of the two?
Well, they both had. Look, I think both their hooks are different. I think that Dillian's is more a left hook where he turns his whole body in with the
Yeah,
hook.
yeah,
Where I think Povetkin's left hook, to me, it is one that has been perfected in the amateurs by throwing it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. If you really look at Povetkin's left hook, it's similar now to what it was early in his career.
yeah. That's why it's still
So
dangerous.
it's still very dangerous.
Yeah.
But look, Ring Raps, let me tell you this, just while we're on that topic. If by any means of the imagination, Povetkin can land that left hook and win that fight, I better get that fight for Joseph Parker.